That Joe Martin.
Oh,
Joe! What do
Artie.
you hear about it, Joe Martin? Joe Martin, you gotta get a haircut from Joe Martin. He's the best guy around.
We'll see about that.
How you doing, buddy?
How
How
you
are
doing?
you? How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm so
Yeah.
happy you're here.
My pleasure.
Thank you for
pleasure.
coming.
Some of my friends have been here, I know. But let's go.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Come on in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Big Wave Experience. I'm Joe, and today I'm so excited. We have such a special guest, Sopranos actor, producer. You know him as Bert Gervasi in The Sopranos, Mr. Artie Pasquale.
Hello, everybody. My pleasure. I've heard a lot about the Big Wave Barbershop, and here I am.
I know it was a little bit of a schlep for you, so I really appreciate you making it.
That's
down.
all right. I'm impressed. Very impressed. The short time I've been here. You guys got a nice place here.
Thank you so much. So I know that you have some things going on coming up where you kind of have to keep the style you have. You can't really take much off, which is totally fine because we're just going to trim you up a little bit, take some weight out, and I'm really looking forward to having a conversation.
All right. I trust you. You're making mistakes, we'll name the street after you.
All right, that's it. Sopranos fashion. So, you know, it's no secret, I'm a huge Sopranos fan. I love the show. You know, I'm obviously not alone with that. I've had some of your colleagues from the show here, Bobby Finero, Lou Martini Jr., and I've had such a great time talking with them and having the whole experience.
Yeah, they're good friends, all three of them. Very good friends. They're good guys, you know. The Sopranos in general, everybody was they were great guys. I know it's repetitious, but everybody says it was a family, you know, and that's exactly how it was. Yeah.
So, what do you think that the whole appeal, as far as, you know, I have my own opinion about this, but what do you think is the whole appeal? Why do you think it had the success it had?
Well, probably because of the genius of David Chase, you know. People always talk about the writing. It's probably the best written drama show in the history of television. So the writing really makes it. And then the characters, he was very, very careful as to what characters he wanted. If you notice, there were never any pretty faces on The Sopranos. No like George Clooney types. They're just regular guys off the street. But you had to perform. You know, you couldn't fake it. You know, you had to be on target when it came to preparing for a scene or something like that. But,
So obviously, level of authenticity there.
oh yeah, absolutely. And since then, of course, there are a lot of people think they're going to make the next Sopranos, but it just doesn't work that way.
No,
You know.
Definitely not.
You know,
I mean, I think there are shows that are up there with The Sopranos, but it's not anything like The Sopranos. Like,
yeah.
I think I had this conversation with Lou Martini, and he said that another show that stood out to him that was on that level was Ozark, in his opinion.
Yeah.
From an acting standpoint,
Yeah. The Wire was another good show.
The Wire. HBO had, in my opinion, for a long time had the best shows.
And people, when they talk about the writers, you had three main writers. You had Chase, of course, and you had Mark Weiner, who went on to do Mad Men, which became a great show.
Yep.
And Terrence Winter, who did Boardwalk Empire, and who just did Tulsa King. So those guys, they proved themselves over and over.
Stallone's my hero.
Yeah.
I heard Samuel L. Jackson is going to be on season 3. I thought that was pretty cool news. Of Tulsa King. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I was happy to hear that.
But the whole experience of The Sopranos, it's just hard to explain, and it just goes on, as the song says, it goes on and on and on and on. So anyway, the show itself speaks for itself. It'll go on forever and ever. People will be constantly asking the question, you know, how'd you like the ending? What do you think happened? That question will go on as long as the show goes on.
Well, when I was talking to Bobby Finero, I think he said it best. Obviously, it's subjective, the ending, right? But do you think there's one person on the planet, especially the fans, who would ever want to see Tony Soprano get shot to death at the end? Is that the ending that anybody would have wanted, right? And you kind of know, they made it pretty obvious that something happened, you know. Yeah, they created this whole stressful situation. You know, like between like metal parking and like, you know, that last 5 minutes was so stressful. And you have all these little nuances of the guy in the members only jacket, which kind of reminds you of Bobby. You know, you come to learn that Bobby's character, Eugene, he was compromised, and, you know, winds up offing himself
Yeah.
You know, so they made those references too that kind of make you think, you know, who was behind that. His wife hated Tony too, if you remember.
And
you know,
even the way, even the food they were eating, the onion rings were symbolizing maybe getting the host, you know. It's a Catholic symbolism, but how you doing my hair, right?
I think we're getting there. I think it's looking good.
I don't want to look like Mario, but that's all right.
Well, speaking of Bobby too, you just did a project with him, right?
Yeah, it's called Fatal Attraction. Bobby's a frustrated. I won't give it away too much, but he did a great job. And I'm a bookmaker, and he owes me money, and he's constantly can't get out of this habit. You know, he's got all kinds of habits. But I worked with all of those guys. You know, you said you had Lou Martini here. I worked with him.
We had Lou Martini here.
I worked with all of those guys.
Bobby was here. Joe Cernio.
Joe Cernio's a great friend.
So Joe Cernio, you know, he actually designed the Big Wave website for us.
Yeah, he's good. It's his company. Yeah. I guess Shore Media. I think
Short,
that's the name of it.
Shoreline Media.
Shoreline Media.
Yeah, he's done a lot of services for us.
But getting back to Sopranos, you know, I can talk about my character if you want, but
Well,
people ask me all the time about when I get killed, when I get shot.
there's the big ending, right? Silvio, he, you know, the whole strangulation scene. You know, you knew something was coming when he was going into that house, but I don't know. The Burt Gervasi character seemed kind of shocked.
Well, you know, the whole thing starts when you had a table read, because it took about a month to do each episode. Everybody, you really had no idea what was going to happen. Nobody had seen the scripts. Perhaps James Gandolfini was privy to it, but you'd get the script and you sit down and everybody would look to the back of the script to see if your name was there, you know. So I hadn't looked at mine, and Gandolfini came over to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Nice knowing you, Bert." So I said, "Oh no." So I look in the script, and there it was, I'm going to get strangled. And, which is okay, you know, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out with a bang, so to speak. And it was the next to the last episode. So, but Steven was like barrel-chested, you know, and when he was putting that lanyard around my neck, that garrote around my neck, he broke about 3 of them. And I said,
Really?
Yeah. And I said, "Steven, just do it tight enough, and I'll let you know if it hurts." And he literally did it tight enough, and I literally thought I was getting strangled. I mean, I had a line in my neck for maybe a day, or half a day.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty intense, that entire scene.
And then people say, and just by luck, sometimes things happen when you're filming something or the results of the scene. Just by luck, my eye drooped, you know, he did it so tight, and the camera was right there. They had cameras all over the place. At that point, they had millions of dollars to do whatever they wanted,
Yeah.
to shoot it however they wanted. Anyway, my eye drooped, like really, really drooped. So people call me up next day. My friend would say, "Artie, I like the way you made your eye droop like that. Like I'm home the night before rehearsing getting strangled. I mean, you can't, if it was something to do with lines, it's fine, but you can't, what am I supposed to look in the mirror and go like this or like that?" It just happened that way, and I got lucky, you know, and I got lucky, and it was good for the camera anyway. But it was a tough scene. I got to, you know, and the other factor was the dog. Some of your viewers might not remember the dog's name was Spencer.
Spencer, the yapper.
And yeah. So the trainer had the dog off camera, and I had some like catnip in my pocket, or something to attract the dog. So at a certain point, she let the dog go, and the dog was just barking and barking.
So the dog wasn't barking because of what was going on. The dog was barking because they put this catnip in your pocket, and you think it just kind
it was
of...
a combination of both.
Yeah.
But the dog was barking and barking and barking and barking. So I said, excuse my language, I said, "When you get this fucking dog off me?" And she says to me, she says, "Don't yell at Iggy like that." I said, "Iggy? I'm getting the shit beat out of me and you're worrying about Iggy." You know, Iggy probably made more money than I did for that scene. But it was, but they were pretty strict. And just to give you another example how things just happened. I was doing a card game scene early on, and to show you how strict they were with the writing, I had one word, just one word. We're playing cards, and the word was fold. And I think Steve Buscemi was directing it. So it came to me, and the dealer says, "So what do you do?" And I just said naturally, I fold, out of disgust. And the scriptwriter come over to me and said, "Artie, not I fold.
Fold.
Just fold." Now, to most of us, and what the hell's the difference between I fold? But that's how strict they were when it came to the writing.
Now, Bobby and Lou both said that the staying on script thing was big with David Chase.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a Scorsese movie where they just kind of put a scenario together and they just kind of let them do their thing, which I think there's some genius in that too. Obviously, it's just a different approach, right? But
yeah,
and because that one scene, and I talked about this with Lou, when his character goes up to the Bing to this is after Johnny Sack goes to prison, and the brother-in-law is relaying all the information, and when Lou walks in, Tony turns to him and he says, "The Lord of the Lenses." He played the eyeglass guy, and he goes, "The Lord of the Lenses," and he bows to him, and I said that couldn't have been written. It was just like so on the cuff, and I said, "Was that written?" And he said, "No." I said, "Did he call you something different every time you walked in the room?" And he said, "Yes." And I was like, "Was that a common thing in The Sopranos?" And he said, "Absolutely not." Yeah. He was the only one that could get away with stuff like that.
That's right. That's right. He obviously earned it.
Now, you also worked with one of my favorite actors of all time, Paul Sorvino. I love Paul Sorvino. I think he's great. Learning about the fact that he almost didn't do Goodfellas because, he had some reservations about him playing a gangster, I thought was really interesting to learn that, after the fact, because his character was so convincing. Even though, if you read Wise Guys, the book, and then you watch the movie, there's a lot of differences in the characters.
That movie with Paul was with great. It was directed by Federico Castelluccio, his first feature film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you had David Preval, who was from The Sopranos. He was a great actor, one of my favorite actors. He played Richie Aprile in The Sopranos.
Great character.
And you had Arthur Nascarella, who was in The Sopranos. He played the priest in that movie. And the lead in that movie was a guy named Troy Garrity, who was Jane Fonda's son. So you had some pretty heavy hitters in there, and the film was pretty good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I gave it I watched it a while ago. I gave it another run when I knew that you were coming here because I wanted to watch some more of your work. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I love the fact that it was, gangsterish movie, but it had this like indie film vibe to it too. Can I trim your eyebrows?
Sure, my pleasure. Just don't lose them. Yeah, they need trimming.
I could talk forever, The Sopranos.
I'll tell you a funny story that's not Soprano if you want me to tell you.
Absolutely.
I was doing a film recently in Sparta, New Jersey.
Lovely town.
So I'm in a warehouse, all cement all around, and I'm gonna get shot once again. So over there was practicing me falling on this mat. And about 2 or 3 times I said to the guy, "Look, that's enough now, I'm not gonna get the shit beat out of me here." Anyway, I want to get out of this, 12 o'clock at night, and they put a squib in me. I don't know if you know what a squib is. Mm-hmm. Where they're gonna shoot me and it's gonna explode.
Explode out with blood.
With blood in a hole in the sweater. So I get shot and I said, "I gotta get out of here. I'm so tired. I need to take the makeup off my face." I get in my car and I took the sweater as a surprise, as a souvenir. I'm riding down the road. All of a sudden, the cop pulls me over. I says, "Oh, what am I going to do here?" The young guy pulls me over. He's license registration. I said, "Okay." You give him license registration. He says, "Where you coming from?" I said, "I did a movie up the street." He said, "Well, yeah, what's the name of the movie?" I couldn't remember the name of the movie. I said, "I really don't know, officer. I can't remember." "You just did a movie and you don't remember the name of the movie?" I said, no. He said, where was it? I said, it was on the street down here. What was the name of the street? I can't remember the name of the street. Hey, he said, let me get this straight. You don't know the name of the movie, you don't know the name of the street. He says, you sure of that? I said, yeah, I'm sure. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm just tired, you know, whatever. So I'm waiting for him to say, step out of the car for some reason. Now he sees on the seat next to me my sweater with the hole in it with the blood on it. So I said, oh, that I can explain this. And I'm still waiting for him to say, step out of the car. I mean, I could have had somebody in the back, in the trunk, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Or call for help. I can explain.
You're waiting for backup to come.
I said, that's what I wore in the film. He said, let's get this straight once again. You don't know the film, you don't know the name of the film, you don't know the street where it was, and now you're gonna tell me that I got this from the movie? I said, yeah. I'm taking it home as a souvenir. He's still worrying about me, and I'm worrying about him because he could be trigger happy. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I said, I got the script in the back seat. Can I get it? And I'm like moving like it's really, let me go slow because this guy might think I'm reaching for something. So I get the script, and he's like in the passenger side window, and I said, look, it says Bruno gets shot in chest. That's me, Bruno. So I said, okay, you don't know the name of the movie, you don't know the straight, and now you tell me that's Bruno. You're Bruno? I says, yeah, that's me, that's Bruno. See, it says the script right here. So finally, he said, you know, that's a great story. He says, I have to believe that. He said, just take it easy. Don't go. You
didn't want to pull a Sopranos card?
No. Anyway,
he probably would recognize you from that, no?
He says, this is going to be a good story. I'm going to tell the guys at the precinct. I said, you're going to tell the story. I'm going to tell the story. But anyway, I thought it was a funny story.
Oh my God. And that's probably one of many, right?
Yeah. Even The Sopranos, there are a lot of stories in The Sopranos, you know. And
so I think we're done here as far as what we need to do on you. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
How'd you do in the back? Here?
I took some weight out of the back, but I left it long like you wanted.
And the sides?
I took some weight out of here. I trimmed it off your ears, eyebrows. Other than that, I think it's good.
Okay, folks, we're going to leave it up to you to decide.
I'm going to flip you around so you can see.
How we did. All right, let's flip me around.
And then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna style it. Just a little, little light product.
I don't want your hairstyle that you have.
Nothing big.
Don't surprise me with yours. Oh, that looks great.
So just some weight out of here.
That's great.
Off the ears. I kept the back longer. Okay.
Sure.
So we exclusively use Slick Gorilla products. It's actually a really great product. It's right out of the UK.
It's not sticky, is it?
No, it's not sticky. No, it's actually a sea salt spray.
Oh, okay.
So there's really no hold to it, but it just gives a little bit of texture. You know, you got this nice wave, so we want to keep that.
Whatever you say.
This is a perfect product. All right, so we just spray a little bit of that in.
Big Wave Barbershop, if you're down in Red Bank, this is where you have to go.
Artie, I really appreciate you coming here. I had a great time talking to you.
Me
Thank
too.
you so much.
Me too. Let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
I'll
and
give it a
spread the
good
word,
Yes,
please.
I certainly will. You have a beautiful place here. Once again, Big Wave Barbershop, Red Bank, New Jersey.
Thank you so much.
It's an offer you can't refuse.
This is true.